Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we got ourselves a really fun unboxing. This is almost a, I would consider this kind of a retro one. It's a slightly older figure. I believe it's from 2000. Could be wrong, maybe 2002. Anyways, it is the Series 1 Green Lantern Black Hand figure. I have a ton of the Green Lantern figures from Series 1 and Series 2, as well as Blackest Night inside my display. I used to have them all carded. Unfortunately, over the years, the bubbles, much like this one, have kind of turned yellow. You can see that right there. So, at that point, you may as well let them breathe, because when the card's like that, there's not a whole lot of value, and it may as well be loose. So, no exception with Black Hand here. Besides, he belongs in the display with the rest of the bad boys. So, we're going to go ahead and crack him open today. So, first, let's go ahead and look at the packaging. As I said, Black Hand right there. Notorious villain from the Green Lantern Geoff Johns run. I was never hard up to get this one at first, but of course, as the years have passed, I've thought, man, what was I thinking I'm passing on him? I should have gotten that one without question. However, I found it in a recent toy hunt when I was at an out-of-town excursion, which if you check out the Doc Brown video I previously released, you'll see that figure that I also got while I was out on that trip as well, and that video will be part of my clearance section edition of Collecting Raj on YouTube. So anyways, Black Hand. Boy, I'm rambling. It is 5 a.m. and I have had entirely too much coffee. Alright, so the back of the package here, we've got a couple of the basic figures from that run. We've got Hal Jordan as Parallax, Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, we've got Black Hand, we've got the Guardians, and we have got Kilowog. And that Kilowog is hands down one of the coolest figures I own in my collection. And out of all the Green Lantern figures, definitely one of the most detailed, and it's gigantic. It's a huge figure. If anything, at some point, because I'm doing these unboxings, I will actually do some reviews of those figures from my display, just so you guys can get more of an on-hands look at those, because they are kind of hard to find, and it would be really cool to kind of review those and show those off to you guys. So, like I said, that's the back of the package. DC Comics, the old logo, right there before they swapped it up for the newer one. Black Hand at the top. And then, of course, the random label that has the price on it from the local shop that I picked it up from. Okay. In fact, it's funny because that was the old DC logo. That was the newer DC logo. And then they changed the DC logo again. I know. Pointless information. So, oh, look. Oh, it just, it didn't come off clean. That's upsetting. Okay. Goodbye. Okay, so he won't be too hard to open. Usually once you've gotten to this part in the cardboard on these older figures, especially if the bubble's yellow, usually the cardboard just comes right off. Alright, first off, this one has a base with it, which is something that was always a nice little thing about the Green Lantern figures from those sets. They all came with these really awesome Green Lantern bases. This one, however, is actually black, unlike the rest of them from the set that were green. So that's a nice little touch, little detail. I like that. All right. Woo. Goodbye. Black Hand. No accessories. Honestly, though, on these Green Lantern figures, none of them really had accessories, except for maybe 2 or 3. The Hal Jordan Green Lantern had a power battery with them. Then again, you wouldn't really expect there to be an accessory with Black Hand, except for maybe a tombstone, possibly. Because I think this was really before they got really far into the Black Lantern stuff. I think this was right at the beginning when he was first just being kind of a villain to the Green Lantern character. And so I do not think the Black Lantern Corps was quite active just of yet. So maybe if this was post that situation, he may have actually had a Black Lantern with him, but who knows. Cape, definitely full-on rubber, like the way I like it. Thank you, DC Direct, for those awesome, flexible, bendy capes. Figure looks great. Good colors, lots of detail on the arms, the gauntlets, right there. It looks like, he's got a black infection in his arm, so that's kind of a nice little touch. The symbol on his chest, the Black Lantern symbol, I think which might be a little bit different than what's on the ring, if you can see that. Kind of got that metal studded look to it, along with the same studded look on top of his mask. The skin, I love the texture to it. It's got a nice feel, very veiny. I know it sounds kind of weird, but it definitely gives off the vibe that he is dead. He is Zombo. Like I said, the cape, very flexible, very nice, very evil. Danhausen.com. What? I'm kidding. Again, coffee, guys. Okay, so the hands completely closed, not really any place for accessories, so that's kind of a downer, because something that I've come to find, you know, to be a thing I enjoy in my later years of being a collector and display guy, is even if something doesn't come with an accessory, at least if they have open hands, if you find an accessory that you eventually want to add to them, either to make your display look kind of action-packed, like, you know, he's fighting somebody or something like that, if you find a random accessory like a 2x4 or just some kind of weapon, like, man, that would look good with that guy. You slide it in his hand, more times than not, it's done. So the hands being completely closed does bum me out a little bit, but, you know, hey, you can't complain too much on that. This one, not a lot of articulation in the hips, just your front and forth hip articulation. Your knees, like that. He does have kind of chicken legs. So clearly, Black Hand did not, he skipped leg day all the time, all day, every day, 24/7. I mean, Black Hand was kind of a scrawnier guy, but at the same time, the upper torso is definitely out of proportion with the lower half. Arms, you know, elbows move, hands turn, so that's cool. Do have some movement there in both hands. You can do it that way. But they, oh, hey, okay. So the arms do spread out. So they do at least have the jointing there. Okay. So this one, let's go ahead and put it on a stand, see how it stands up, and then we'll go ahead and give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, and maybe any additional critiques. All right. On the stand, this thing stands great. I love it. Honestly, this thing, especially for a figure that's not in line with current McFarlane stuff necessarily, I think it looks great. I wish I had a little bit more hip articulation, but obviously this is around the time when that wasn't quite a priority for DC Direct figures. However, it does look great. It holds up on the stand very well. The knee joints are tight, but not too tight, so that's very nice. I do like the options for the articulation in the shoulders. You can even, you know, make him look like he's trying to do the double buys. But, I mean, obviously not going to do that inside the display because that takes up a ton of room. You know, anything about anything when it comes to displaying your figs, you know the double buy pose eats up a ton of space. So, there we have it. Green Lantern Series 1 DC Direct Black Lantern. Why did I call him Black Lantern? Okay. Well, Black Hand, sorry. My bad, guys. Don't crucify me in the comments. Anyways, Black Hand Series 1. Again, that's going to wrap it up. This figure, I definitely give a thumbs up. If you're trying to go back and track down all of these Series 1, 2, or even 3 Green Lantern figures, they're all wonderful figures. This one's no exception to the rule. Again, as always, guys, thank you. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you want one. Also, follow me on Instagram at CollectingRaj. And as always, thank you again for checking me out, and I'll see you next time.